So often we think that we struggle when it comes to scrolling on social media or being unable to stop our bad habits, but what we're really struggling with down on a soul core deep level is we're struggling with loneliness. We're struggling with connection. So I'm really excited for this episode today where we'll be diving into exactly what you need to do in order to call in your soul tribe and leave loneliness behind. I truly believe that collectively we're going through a loneliness epidemic. And so I have my amazing friend Brad here with us today, and we are going to be talking exactly about how you can call in that soul community. We're going to be talking about romantic relationships. We're going to be talking about soul sister, soul brother connections, and just your soul tribe and your community and feeling more connected on this planet. So let's just dive into things. I am so grateful that Brad has actually flown out to record this episode with me here in person. He has been a part of our community for, would you say, almost years now?
Yeah, at least a year and a half.
A year and a half, yeah. And I'd love for you to introduce yourself and share a little bit about who you are and who you were before joining our community.
Well, as Marissa said, my name is Brad. As of right now, I originate from Iowa, which is far different from here in California. Who I was before, I guess I would say the person I was before was the person that everyone wanted me to be. And I spent a lot of time trying to be the person I thought they wanted me to be, as opposed to who they actually wanted me to be or the person I was when they were drawn to me. And that's very different people. And so sometimes it's really, sometimes you need someone else's help, like an outside perspective, to see that that's not who you are. And someone just kind of needs to shake you up a little bit or ask you some questions, and then you'll answer those questions and you actually realize on your own that you're not being yourself. And so then that's what Marissa did when I first met her and joined the community. She just asked probably some basic questions that opened my mind up to where I started to question who I actually am. And then I kind of just went on my own little personal journey with her assistance to just remember who I am and remember my power, my strength, and my own ability, and then learn to accept that and be me.
I love that. I love that so much. And that's so much of the theme that we've been focusing on, not only for the past year and a half, but also even just like in the past few days of getting to hang out together and having so much fun. Something that Brad and I have been telling ourselves throughout these past few days is that we are warriors of love, and we are standing in our soul power and our warriorness. And so often when we think of like a warrior or power, we think of this very aggressive, strong, combative, or even defensive thing. But I love what you shared so deeply, because it shows how you can stand in your power and in that beautiful warrior energy and be a warrior of peace, a warrior of connection, a warrior of love. And sometimes we really do need other people. I appreciate you for acknowledging me, but even myself, like we all need other people in order to be a mirror for us. And you can't see yourself without a mirror, right? And sometimes in relationships, our partners can be a mirror for us, and it can be sometimes even uncomfortable. But we can get more into that even later. Yeah. So what do you think was like the catalyst for you? The moment that made you realize in your life, did something happen that made you realize like, whoa, it is time for me to start living in alignment and living in my soul truth?
The main moment, I mean, I technically had two moments, but the main moment that was my initial catalyst for me was a person I intended to spend the rest of my life with. And one day she just said, you're not the right person for me. And I guess I wasn't at that same crossroads in my mind. And it kind of was a downward spiral, just because I was so certain and she was not. And And that really got me thinking about actually who I am and who I was when I was around her, and who she expected me to be and who I expected her to be, because I was also projecting my ideas of who I thought she should be, not who she was. And so I was, I have this thing that is both positive and negative, where I see everyone for their potential. But it is also my vision of their potential, not their own potential. And
that's something that so many starseeds struggle with. Like, sometimes people say that we see the world through rose-colored glasses, but I truly believe that we just see very clearly. And I can see people's potential very clearly as well. And I've also personally run into that a lot of, like, I see you as this amazing person. I see the trajectory of where you can go and what you could step into. But sometimes not everyone wants to step into that. Not everyone wants to become their potential in this lifetime. That's one of my core values, is like being the best version of myself, stepping into my highest potential. It sounds like yours is too. And not everyone wants to grow, right? And yeah, it's really, really difficult to realize when we've been holding those expectations, but it can feel so good to let them go. And I really acknowledge you, because it can be a painful catalyst to realize that we need to let go of these expectations. But it opens up a whole door. It's a portal, right? It's a whole transformation, a whole rebirth, because what you've stepped out of are these like transactional, expectation-based, attachment-based relationships. And you get to step into the opposite of that, which is unconditional love, being able to be yourself and be accepted as who you are, and being able to give that to other people as well.
Yep, that's the goal, and that's that's the way to a beautiful life. As one of my opinions, is just be yourself, love yourself as you are, and go live your life as yourself, and you'll actually attract, as Marissa says, you'll attract your tribe. You do have to weed out some people, because you're going to attract everybody. You're going to attract every person that needs your love, that needs your energy, that needs, like, for me, is like a lot of people need my safety, or they think they need my safety.
They gravitate towards you.
Yeah, it's just whatever energy I give off, they like it. But we can choose who we allow in our life, and it's tough sometimes when you are lonely and you don't have a community, and you don't, like, for me, I don't have a terrible lot of friends, or I have a lot of acquaintances. But as an example, every time in my life I travel somewhere, in the past year, I haven't asked anyone to come along. But prior to that, every time I've traveled, I've tried to invite someone to come with me, whether it's a girlfriend, a family member, a friend, or someone I thought was a friend. And so far, nobody has come along. And I always end up traveling alone. And so then, when I'm thinking I'm going to travel with somebody, and at the last minute someone doesn't come or changes their mind, it makes the entire trip feel lonely. And so this was a great experience for me, because for once I'm flying out specifically to meet a friend. And first time meeting Marissa, my friend. And it's
and loneliness is really so challenging. I really acknowledge you for talking about it, because we're talking about wounds of the heart and wounds of the soul that there really aren't words for. And I see loneliness as almost like, it's like being stuck in like an addiction, like it's being stuck in a certain energy, and it's very, very difficult to be in that energy. It's kind of like being drunk. It's going to lead you to settling for relationships or for things that like you typically don't realize. So I acknowledge you. I think the most powerful thing that someone can do is walk their journey and follow their intuition. And sometimes other people can't walk it with us. sometimes we do embrace loneliness. I have been so often in my own spiritual journey as well, just needing to like look myself in the mirror, my own mirror sometimes, and be like, I feel lonely. Like I really, really do. And I feel lack and I feel empty and I feel sad. And that is the most powerful thing that you can do, because that touches on the void. That void that we want love. Then we start to think about our parents. Then we start to think about all of these different things. But the mind can't solve this problem. This is all energetic. This is all soul level. And what our soul really needs, and what I've found for so many people, is like the antidote to that loneliness is either God, great spirit, universe, whatever word you want to use, but feeling so close to something. And the something that we can feel so close to is also our purpose. It's also who we are. And I've watched you step into that so much in this past year and a half. And it's really beautiful, really, really beautiful to witness as you can identify loneliness and step and make action and take steps and steps and steps. And something that you guys don't know about Brad, which is really beautiful, is Brad is going through an incredible transformation right now. Moving out of the town that you grew up in for your whole, is it the town you grew up in your whole life? Or that's where your family is?
Like a 20-mile radius, my whole life. So
yeah, and so often people never ever leave their 20-mile, 50-mile radius. Like there's statistics and lots of research that shows this, and some people aren't meant to. I'm not saying everyone has to, but Brad and I talk about this all the time, is like putting yourself in a new environment, seeking new community, connecting with new people, moving sometimes is the step to doing that.
Yep. It's the one thing I learned is the first thing I learned is just the environment I lived in was not accurate for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like my thing, like we have a view here that some of you have probably seen, Marissa's view of where she lives, but there's mountains in the background, and I just love it. Like I love the mountains, and they're desert mountains, but I still would much rather be here than somewhere where the land is all just flat,
And sometimes as warriors of love and warriors of light, we really are alone, and the mountains are my friends. And even just the other day, we were singing to the rocks together and connecting with all of the different nature spirits, and they're always available to you. So I'm really excited for you to move and get to reconnect with your nature family.
Yeah, me too.
And also throughout that process, you've been a part of our beautiful community, and you'll of course continue to be a part of our beautiful community, which I feel that so many people don't realize how an online community can really support you and make you feel less lonely, even when you're on vacation feeling completely alone. I've personally felt that so many times and just been in our online community. Feel like that's my one connection to source, to spirit, to myself, right? So I just wanted to ask you, how has our community supported you? Because it is all online. It's not in the real world.
Right. So to answer that, one thing about a community that a lot of people maybe don't realize is, well, first off, when you're online, you feel very connected to the people anyways. Like when you're on a Zoom call, a lot of people think it's, a digital Zoom call. It's not real. It's very real. Especially if you're in, an energetic or spiritual community, you can feel the energy of the other people regardless. You can see the pain in their face when they share their story. You can feel the emotions. Like there's a lot of times in this particular group, we all cry together. Like one person starts crying or one person's story resonates when you don't think, well, there's only 3 of you on the call. I don't want to say what I have to say because it's irrelevant. Well, every time someone has said something, everyone else is like, yes, I've experienced this too. And then we all grow through it together. Like Marissa asks us a lot of questions, and it's the opposite of lonely. It's everyone, regardless of what you think, we all probably have the same, like, overall problems. Not problems, but just difficulties or things we're trying to overcome. Probably every single person has these similar problems, and it's just like you join the group, the community, because these are people that are actually addressing those concerns in their life, and they want to change and they want to move forward. And like for me, as an overall growth mindset person who very well intends to grow my life just beyond what even anyone has ever thought was possible for me, but I'm way out there. And then the people in the community are fully supportive because many of them have the exact same passion and goal because it is a growth community.
Yeah.
And it's just great being around other people with the same challenges and the same goals.
Yeah, and I actually started posting online over 15 years ago because I felt so lonely, because there was no one that I could talk to in my real world about any of the topics I like to talk about, and bringing in joy and light and growth and maybe a little dabble in mermaids or whatever other fun things are in there. So it's really, really beautiful to have this space where so many of us, I've noticed that it's really a pattern amongst our warrior selves and people that are growth minded and wanting to step into their highest potential. We often feel very lonely in our real world, lonely from our family. We're often the black sheep of our family. We often feel misunderstood. Some of us run into a lot of conflict as well with other people in feeling misunderstood, in feeling triggered. Connecting with people is painful. And so it's interesting. It puts us in an interesting catch-22 because it's like we know that we need connection. Like, if you don't know that, we physically, on a biological level, need to be within vicinity of other humans in order to feel like our healthiest and best self. And then, so we need that, but then being close to humans has been so triggering. And something that I shared recently on, I think it was Instagram, and it got a lot of feedback because so many people felt the same way. I said the loneliest feeling is when you're sitting in a room, a crowded room, and you just feel so misunderstood and so alone. And so many of us black sheep, highly sensitive, starseed archetypes have felt this way. And I consider that to be the worst, especially like in a romantic relationship. And we carry that pain. And because of that, we don't speak up in community calls. We don't join a community. We don't see the value. But the truth of the matter is that by literally just spending, let's say, an hour a week or not even that much time talking with other people how we are right now, this heals the soul on a cellular level. And listening to this conversation that's so honest and vulnerable and open also heals the soul down to a cellular level and activates those chakras. So I know that we're going to continue and have the most amazing conversation, but for all of us listeners and for us here, I just want to pause and for us to take a deep breath of gratitude together. We can begin by closing our eyes. Just breathing in, breathing out. So how do you feel that the community has supported you over this past year and a half that you've been a part of it?
So Marissa's community has supported me in many ways. First off, so when I first joined, she has all these exercises and videos that you can just go through on your own, at your own time, at your own leisure. And throughout, the year and a half, it's her library of content that is just for us, has grown so much that you almost will never run out of things to do. And she's constantly updating and changing as she feels the group energy changes and the direction changes. And then the people in the community grow. And imagine if you joined a community where these people are already ahead of you, but the content is still there to catch you up. And then it's like you're trying to get from A to B as fast as possible, because like maybe you don't like your life at all, and you're, maybe everything about your life is wrong, and then you see someone like Marissa or me and you go, wow, like I want to be like that person. And you literally can just go through the content 24 hours a day if you wanted to, until you've consumed it all, and do all the exercises and just grow in literally an instant in comparison to your life and how your life has been.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, big fan of going through the content and doing the exercises. I really like the EFT tapping is instantly calms me down every single time. It's like, there's science behind that, but I don't even care what the science is. It just works, and sometimes you just need someone to just go to the module and do number 6. Just do it, and then you don't have to think, you just do it. And then you can just take a deep breath and go, that did something,
Mm-hmm.
And she's got a lot of stuff in there with trauma, because obviously with just my life overall from birth till now, depending on who you are, everything you experience could possibly create a trauma that sticks with you, until you
Release it.
Yeah, release. Until you're aware of it first,
Mm-hmm.
and acknowledge that it's there, and then do something to release it. Sometimes it's work, and sometimes it's one little session where you go through, a specific meditation, or something that's like an NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, to where you just replay events in your mind, and it may not instantly heal you, but at least it puts you on a path to heal.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're just aware that, well, that was causing problems for me. And when you go through the content, if you actually do the work and go through it, you will very quickly realize life is wrong. Like maybe all of life was wrong, and it's not wrong, because you need those experiences. Those made you who you are now and where you're at now.
Mm-hmm.
But you have the opportunity to choose to join whatever community is right for you,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's Marissa's or mine or someone else's. Just find your people,
Mm-hmm.
And like, if you're like me and, your life has had some traumatic events, like Marissa's group is great, because she has a lot of things in there about trauma. She has some things in there about, nutrition, just supporting yourself, loving yourself, how to, step away from people that aren't for you. There's,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's
Boundaries.
almost, boundaries. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, because that is a thing that many people just don't even know exist.
Yeah, and I do want to just share as well, because my past self, my PTSD self, would probably have heard this and been like, oh my God, no, this sounds so re-traumatizing. But something really cool about the work that we're doing here is that you don't actually have to relive any of your pain or any of your, we're not going deeper into that. That's what life has been. And I love that you said that life before was wrong, because that's kind of one of the ways to explain that. Life has been, up until this point, reliving, ruminating, recirculating on these things that we may or may not even be aware are traumas or are holding us back, whether or not we relate to that word trauma. But we can just let it go either instantly or be on a track of healing instantly, which is so incredibly beautiful. And so I love all of the things that you love about the community. Those are also the things I love about the community. So that's amazing. My next question for you is, what are the 2 to 3 major breakthroughs that you've experienced so far in this community?
So right off the bat, obviously the very first thing I experienced was right in the beginning. One of our group calls, I believe it was a meditation where we worked on some traumas with potentially our parents. And when you're in the group, I do believe those meditations are still there to help you on your own with your own time. Mm-hmm. So you can just listen to Marissa and follow the directions. And begin to heal yourself. But this one specifically was like for parents, any trauma, like little tiny things from parents could potentially create a trauma that's blocking your life from just moving forward or going where you want to be. And I mean, literally one of the first maybe 3 calls I was on, we did that and it was literally healing. And I think that was one of the ones where we were all crying at the end and everyone was like, wow, like nobody was expecting that, you know? And so that was great, right off the bat. Another thing that is nice for me is, well, we mentioned this before, is everyone seems to have, I don't want to say similar problems, but everyone will relate to your problem and they might have advice. It might have been something they've already overcome, or it might be something they're also having a problem with, and it maybe is something Marissa's overcome because she's been doing this far longer than most of us. And so then she can just say, this is what helped me. This is what I would do if it were me in your position. And then she even says, sometimes that's not going to work for you because I'm me and you're you, but this is the advice I have to give. And for me, it works well because we have, you know, similar things in common here and there. Another thing that's nice in the group is, well, like you do have a chat. You have a chat where if you really feel like, you know, Marissa is always there to answer a question, you know, that maybe there's something you want to ask where you don't want to involve the whole group. That's just fine. You just ask Marissa and it's private. She keeps everything private. If she feels it's relevant in a call to speak about, she will just, she'll just say, hey, do you mind? Or she'll even just send a little message in the Zoom. Hey, do you mind if we talk about this? You know, and I would assume most of the time it's a, you know, at least a yes, if not a hesitant yes, but then it always leads to growth and a breakthrough. And I just think that's great. And you add in the fact that the members can message each other too. Sometimes someone might have a problem that Marissa has never experienced or not recently experienced, such as like, I mean, there could be 100 different things.
Yeah, it can be so valuable to be able to connect directly with other members. And that is just so incredible. And I love that you shared that so many of our problems are similar, because I've found that even I've been in emotional intelligence trainings that are like 200, 300, thousands of people, where we're asked, like, who here has, let's say, fears surrounding being seen? Like, everyone raise your hand. And just seeing how similar we all are. We all think that we're just alone in our pain, alone in our blockages, that we shouldn't speak about our insecurities because other people would never understand them or something like that. So to just have a safe space where we can open that up, we can air out that closet, and that in itself just brings all of that pain down, to realize, oh wow, like a lot of people right now are feeling nervous or this or that, or aren't enjoying doing social media right now, but we're still doing social media, and we're all going to encourage each other and hype each other up extra today because we're all having a harder day behind the scenes or whatever it is that we're doing. So yeah, I think that that's so beautiful about the human experience, that we are all so similar. And I kind of try to think of it, I hate to be in like the us versus them mentality, but I kind of do think of it like there's people that are being honest about their fears, and then there's people that are like, no, I don't have that fear, I've never thought that way, and they're just not necessarily like being honest, if that would make sense. Because a lot of the fears that we have, having fear in general, is the most common and unifying human experience. The phrase that is most common in the Bible, 365 times you can find this in the Bible, is a four-letter phrase, 4-word phrase, words, I got this, 4-word phrase. And if any of you guys know it, you can comment it down below, do a little pop quiz here. But that phrase is, do not be afraid. why do you think that we are, when we're given guidance through the Bible, through channeled wisdom, through any of this higher dimensional, higher perspective learning, it's all about letting go of fears, releasing, freeing ourselves of this internal imprisonment that so many of us are experiencing? So I love that you mentioned that, because that's such a good reminder. And I also think that sometimes people are like, oh, well, when will I just be out of it? Right? Like, I just need to do a meditation and just be fully out of my internal prison of fear and doubt and all of these things. And that is, like, in my opinion, sometimes the purpose of life. I've been in this journey for so long, and I'm going to be in this journey for so long, God willing, that I get to be here and consistently taking steps towards my inner peace, my inner clarity, my soul tribe. And I just love connecting with other people that are taking those steps to get to journey together in this beautiful journey. I want to know, were you at all, and you can be honest here, I know you've been very honest, but were you at all nervous to join our community, and what were you nervous about?
Yeah, I was quite nervous in the beginning. Not everyone may know this, but in the beginning, it was a women's only group. Marissa was very like women's only. And if you watch any of her content, I'm sure there's plenty of men that follow her, but it is still mostly directed towards women, feminine energy and women, you know, and I could see on some of the faces on the first call when a guy with a little bit of a beard shows up, everyone was like, what? Like, what? But then by the end of that call, I think everyone was fine with it. Everyone was like, okay, he's in the right place, or he's okay here at least, for the first call. And
there was a soul resonance there for sure. Yeah.
But the nerves are, it's almost like a pressure of being, maybe, I don't even know, but maybe the first male that was in that is, and I just had to say to myself, like she just said, you got this. Like sometimes you just have to reassure yourself that you're in the right place and you got this. And the fact that I'm still in it, and I'm literally sitting right here in the Yucca Valley, and I'm apparently in the right place.
I believe that you are. And I think that you've said multiple times that you feel that you are, right?
Oh yeah. I enjoy the group. There's usually just a handful of us that make it to all the calls.
And sometimes the path that is the path of your highest potential is so different from what you would have thought. Like, I doubt Brad ever at any point in his life was like, I need to join an all women's community and be the first man that is a part of this, right? Like, so these nerves and these hesitations are so natural, because so often when we're presented an opportunity, it might not be exactly what we had in mind, but once you got inside, you felt quite different, right?
Yep. It actually, for me, I was surprised that I could just be myself, because at first I was thinking I might need to wear a mask to fit this very feminine community, and it's not an overly feminine community at all. It's anyone could be in the community. It is not, there is very, very, very few things that are like, this only applies to the females. It is all for everyone. Something that maybe the men that follow her should think about is, you can actually do this work that she's teaching, and it will still help you regardless of your gender, regardless of your background, regardless of your beliefs even. Just let go a little bit of the rigidity in your life and take a risk.
Yeah, we all could benefit from more feminine energy in our life. And I know we're talking about feminine energy, but there's so much in the temple, right? Like, just like you said, we have one module on womb healing and really diving into your feminine energy for those of us that do have wombs, but all of us can benefit from prioritizing ourselves, understanding our boundaries, feeling more passionate and pleasure in life, which is so incredibly beautiful. How do you feel that the temple has changed how you see yourself and how you see your life, your purpose, your work, your mission?
Being in the temple really, I mean, the key number one thing for me was, first off, it's okay to be you. It's like, a lot of people probably need to hear that it is okay to be whoever you are.
Not just okay, we want you to be who you are.
The world needs everyone to be unique.
Yeah, we are cheering you on being exactly who you are, even if others don't like it. But continue, I don't want to cut you off.
But yeah, and so that was like number one is you're not only are you allowed to be you, you're encouraged to be you. And that more of the world needs to stop saying, I don't like that person for who they are. Let them be. You don't have to say, I don't like that. You just go, they're them, not for me. But you still want them to be them, because then you know they're not for you, and they will find their own group, their own tribe, their own community way over there, because they can. But that was the major shift for me, and it actually was fairly quick, where I realized, like, hey, I've been wearing a mask a lot of my life that is ironically to fit the persona of being Brad. Like, the world is full of Brads, and everyone kind of pushed me into the box of, they call them Brads and Chads. And like, everyone automatically pushed me into that, not even remotely close to who I am or who I think I am. And the problem is when I let the world push me there, I kind of was acting like a Brad and a Chad, because I could sense that they wanted that. And instead of holding a boundary and setting a boundary and saying, hey, like, you're wrong, this isn't who I am, I'm like, it's easier, it's easier just to agree with them and just to follow along. And, but that's not my path at all. Like, if you're in this group or interested in this group, that's not your path. Your path is to be yourself, whoever you are. And it's, everyone in the group is like, we are so different. And as I've mentioned, when we have issues, we're so different, and everything still resonates. And it's like, and we are still friends. Like, we could all join each other for a weekend probably and just have an absolute blast, because we could be just like friends,
And I think that you also mentioned something in there as well, something that keeps us often in like toxic dynamics or transactional relationships. If you guys hear background stuff, my dog is having a dream right now. She's dreaming behind us. But oftentimes what keeps us stuck in transactional relationships is our own inner patterns that we don't even realize until we're in a community of people who support us being ourselves. And so one of those inner patterns is like the savior complex, not letting someone go, leave, do their own, like staying so attached, constantly ruminating on what you did wrong or how you could help them, or right, I've definitely been that way after relationships have ended as well, like not letting it go through that breakup process, or even not relationships, even with family, wanting so badly to bring them along in our journey. And this can be so challenging. And if you are experiencing something like this, something that I often tell people who experience this is that you are meant to journey with people. It just might not be those people. Those people maybe didn't sign up for your help, maybe didn't sign up for the path and the growth that you have signed up for without even realizing that you have before you were even born. And the more that we can just let them, like the let them theory, let them be on their path, let yourself be on your path. This is the whole conversation. Every day people ask me, how do I lower my cortisol? How do I balance my hormones? That is the path to do it. Let them, and let yourself also. And it's so much easier said than done. I know Brad's talking about this as if it's like, oh, cool, just like be yourself. It is a process. It is
year and a
such a
half,
process.
like
Yeah.
a full, and like I have regressed probably several times. Whether it's when you are fully yourself, you are vulnerable. You feel vulnerable because you're not wherever you live or the communities that you are in. You're probably not going to fit in those communities anymore. And it doesn't mean you're in the wrong place. It doesn't mean you still can't have that community. It just means as you accept being yourself, you also have to accept that the other people in the community are going to go, hold on a second, you were someone different last week. And they're gonna push back. And all you have to do, like it's super easy, all you have to do is just continue to own it. It's actually, for some people, it's easy.
But that is the hardest part.
Yeah.
Like that's that's when we're thinking about people pleasing, for example. Why can't we just stop people pleasing? Because you don't want to see the face of someone that you've been people pleasing with for so many years who goes, "You're not going to do that for me." Right? Like you don't want to experience all of that discomfort and all of that judgment. And nobody does. None of us do. So that's why we get to hack the system by creating inner safety in our nervous system, knowing that as you step into yourself, sometimes people aren't going to cheer you on. We will.
Right.
We always will.
Right.
But sometimes people in the world don't strongly encourage that, and being able to have that internal courage and that internal strength to say, cool, you expect me to be one way, and I hope you enjoy that. Like, I'm going to continue being my wizard self and doing cartwheels and hooting and hollering or whatever it is that I like to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. In your own words, what would you say is the vibe of our community?
If I was going to say the vibe of the community, I would say, first off, I'm going to say very accepting, because obviously I'm a male with the name Brad that appears masculine on the outside. And everyone was very welcoming. Like, probably after the first call, or by the end of the first call, I think Marissa maybe acknowledged, like we all did well. Like, we all resonated with that, correct, and like, that was her way of saying, is it okay if he's in this group, I think is what, the undertone of the question was. And everyone was like, that was great, and we've talked about this before, but it's just a place where you can literally be you. And one thing we all have in common, like all people have in common, but it's especially accepted in the group, is we can all just be weird. Like if we want to talk about aliens, we're going to talk about aliens. We don't care if you believe. Nobody cares if someone in the group doesn't believe aliens exist. It's okay to talk about it because two people in the group think they exist or believe, and everyone else they'll enjoy the conversation and they'll laugh a little because maybe they're going, what am I getting into? But at the same time, they're going to laugh and they're going to have fun, and then they're going to open their mind a little bit to something that they maybe haven't heard about before, and that's kind of the power of being weird and being authentic, is you learn something from someone, like one of my big things that Marissa likes to do too is we like to just dance in the gym. I maybe don't dance as hard as her in the gym, but as soon as you give yourself permission to be weird, dance in the gym, one day you're going to turn around and someone behind you is going to be dancing in the gym. And they don't want you to see that they're dancing because they're going to be afraid, but you maybe were the person that, unconsciously gave them permission to be weird. And that's the cool thing about the group, and the vibe of the group is, as we all take action to go where we want to go in our life, we give the other people who aren't taking that action permission. You're literally going, look, I did this and I'm fine. Maybe my life didn't right away, but I'm fine. Nothing bad happened. someone maybe made a little comment on my video that was unnecessary, nothing to do with me. That's their thing to figure out, why they're commenting negative things on random videos. And so that's like one of my favorite things about the community is like, just be weird, and everyone is going to love that you can be weird. And some of the people are maybe very normal in the community, and they still like that we're all weird, because that probably shakes their life up a little bit of, maybe we're the entertainment for a couple times a day, you know?
Yeah, I truly believe, I'm picturing, as you're saying this, I'm picturing you like a ray of sun, and you're like shining your rays all over the world, which is so, so fun. And yeah, I've noticed that also in the gym so often, is that when you give yourself the permission to just dance along, not care what people are thinking, just be in your own zone and do what makes you feel pleasure and joy and peace, other people, whether they are going to do things to invite that in themselves, they'll even just acknowledge you. Like, I have so many people that come up to me in the gym and are just like, I love whenever you're here. It's such a good vibe. You have such good energy. And I'm sure that you get that all the time too. Like, you have so many gym friends also. So this is really the value, the breakthrough, like the big one that's hard to kind of talk about here. When you step out of that loneliness, that shadow, that it's like a shadow of yourself, and you're able to step into being the sun and shining your rays on all of the world. You feel so much better. You are so much healthier. You're doing so many amazing things for the world. And this is what it is to be in your soul purpose and in your soul alignment. Sounds like where you're heading in your spiritual journey is stepping out onto the world stage and sharing all of these beautiful breakthroughs that you've been having, and really stepping into your soul purpose to another degree. It also sounds like you are moving in order to align with your purpose, your own inner alignment, and all of those things. I love all of the directions you're headed. That's beautiful. I just want to know, do you have any questions for me about where you're heading, your path, about anything?
I guess one question I would have that may be helpful for others is, say when you move to a new place, because Marissa's moved a few times in her life at least. When you move into a new place, how do you find your community? How do you connect with the community and find the ones that you're supposed to be in?
Yeah, that's such a good question. I would actually say my answer is probably going to be really, really unconventional. The first community, if you're moving into a home, is the home, right?
Right.
This home has a spirit, and when I moved in here, the work that I did was not about going out and talking to people and meeting people. It was about making sure that this home wants to work with me, setting out a crystal grid for my home, talking to the energy of my home, going and introducing myself to all of the trees on my land, going and connecting with the animals of this land, right? It took me some time to really feel settled in. And for other people, I think that, or sometimes we think, because I in the past used to think, oh, I need a yoga studio, I need a gym, I need all of this stuff to feel settled in. But now I know that I need to introduce myself to the local wildlife. I need to sing songs to the stones and to hear the stories of the rocks and things like that. That's where that community starts. And once I feel so grounded, which this can take now for me an hour, it took a month, took a year, different points in my life. Once I feel so grounded, and you are, I guess, grounded is the word that's coming up for me, then you are a magnet for the people that are in alignment with you. So I love connecting with nature. If that's not something that you love to do, I would say that doing the things that you love to do that make you feel like your best self, that give you that inner sun energy, that you are just shining in everything that you do, because that's where you're going to magnetize those people that are in alignment with you. When I started going out into the town, because I live in a very rural area, once I started going out, the people that would stop me on the road and come up and talk to me are all the people that come to our in-person community events. They started talking to me about aliens and mermaids, and right off the bat, and they were like, I have no idea who you are, why I want to talk to you about mermaids, but I have a question about mermaids. And I was like, oh wow, like you really do become a magnet for your people and for your community. Another thing that I would strongly encourage for people to do, well, before I share that stuff, I want to share that community is not what we see in the movies. And that is really, really important for us to realize. Relationships aren't what we see in the movies, right? That Prince Charming, Cinderella relationship, they never argue or anything. That's not real life. Real life is sometimes awkward, it's sometimes uncomfortable, it's sometimes disagreeing with people or feeling close to people, and then you realize you don't feel so close to people, and all of this is part of community. And when we can realize that and accept that community is going to an event that you didn't enjoy sometimes, right? Like that is part of those steps. That is so important to realize, because so often we think that the first event we're going to go to, it's just, we're going to find our tribe, it's going to be amazing. First call that we sign up for in the temple, you're just going to get along with everyone and feel like these are all your lifelong friends. You don't create lifelong friends like sometimes it's instantaneous, but this happens over time, and you need to give yourself that time. And what to do during that time to call in those lifelong friends and that soul tribe and community is doing things that are uncomfortable. I took Brad to his very first drum circle. Well, I don't know if that was your first drum circle, but it was your first in-person, like spiritual event like that. Yeah. And those are uncomfortable. I remember the first one that I went to, I was sweating so much that it looked like I peed my pants. I had such bad social anxiety. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if other people were going to judge me or anything like that. I've gone to different events and felt like, wow, I really don't agree with the speaker. I don't like the vibes here. And all of that is the path to finding your people. So I encourage everyone to put yourself in different environments. Go to different gyms, go to different workout classes, work out with different trainers, like move if you need to move, go to different drum circles. Maybe there's a midnight disco party somewhere that you once heard of and you're like, I would never do that. This version of you might need for you to do that in order for you to find your people. And I've found that the more that I allow myself to sign up for a random pottery class or drum circle or whatever it could be, that's where I find my soul tribe, because they're doing the same thing. They're also gravitated towards that pottery class or that Lakota's prayer singing circle or whatever things that I'm signing up for, and I have no idea why I feel curious about it. So a big blockage that people have in finding their community is not trusting their intuition enough. Right? Someone randomly sent me information about a drum circle. I had never been. I had no idea what it was, but I was like, cool, we're going. Amazing. Like, I feel this little curiosity. I don't need a reason. It doesn't need to make logical sense. If you feel called to do something, like if I feel called to make tea, why do I need a whole scientific research on why it's perfect to drink tea exactly at this time? And we get so in our heads about, will there be food there? Like all of the stuff.
I'm hungry.
Yes.
I should have eaten first.
Right. What snacks should I bring? Yeah. There's so many distractions that we can get like blocked by that can become barriers. And we all have those barriers. And so yeah, something that I like to do is sometimes just write out what those barriers are. I have social anxiety. I don't know what snacks are going to be there. I'm worried that no one's gonna understand me, right? Whatever these things could be. Sometimes when we just see them on a piece of paper, it's like, oh, I'm not gonna die from any of these things, and I can actually go to that tea party and have a good time.
Yeah, because in the end, that's, I believe they say all of our fears stem from the fear of death. And so if you write them out and go, is this actually going to cause me harm? No. It might cause you a little anxiety. It might cause you, you know, you might sweat a little. Oh my gosh, you sweat a little bit at the drum ceremony you've never been to before with 20 people you've never seen before that all looked at you like, this guy looks out of place, you know? Potentially, you know, some of those people think those thoughts, and that's their thought to think. And you're allowed to sweat. It's okay. You're allowed to pee your pants if you know, maybe not, but it's all right. You have to go for it.
I love that you said that, the fear of death, which that could be its whole own podcast episode, which maybe we will film another podcast episode all about death in the future, because I have such a different relationship with death and the ideas about death than other people. You've experienced grief in this lifetime as well, yes. And so I think sometimes when you've really been in the bottom pits of grief and fear and that paralyzation for so long, and you're meditating on it and asking yourself all of these deep and difficult questions, I kind of came to the realization that I actually am inspired by death. Like, death is this inevitable thing, right? So the immature or lower self-thought is that fear of death. Oh no. Right? And then when we feel more spiritual maturity and certainty and pleasure in our life, it's actually inevitable, right? And so every single day, knowing that like every day is a gift, I am so grateful. I never know when my last day is going to be. So the sun is shining. Like I was kind of tired today, and with that mindset, I'm like, ooh, we're gonna go on a walk after this. We're gonna do these things to take advantage of this beautiful life that we have to live, because you never know, right? And so often when people are at the end of their journey, their life path, they feel a lot of regret. And that is my personal worst fear, is to look back and to wonder what it would have been like to go on a walk on this day, or to film a podcast together and talk about death, even though it's kind of weird and taboo and vulnerable and triggering or whatever it is. Like, what would it have been like to not shy away from that? And what would I have then experienced because of it, right? So yeah, we get to go out and embrace life and connect with other people and practice our boundaries, because something that I experienced was like, when you take that mask off, you kind of become the version of yourself that you were when you put it on. One of my social masks that I put on, it was in high school, that I was like, oh my gosh, I can't be myself. I need to put on this certain type of mask. So in my adulthood, as I took this mask off, I reverted back to my high school self. And I had all of my high school thoughts of like, what are people thinking of me? Right? Like, you get what I'm trying to say. We all are telepathic here. Yep. So we all understand. Yep. But yeah, and so that's a process, right? Bringing that high school version of me, like the part of my consciousness that is still stuck in that maturity level, and bringing her into the maturity level of, we are excited to meet people. We're not worried about what people think about us. Like, words. So often when we are in that immature or hurt place, we're thinking about a worst case scenario. I'm going to go to this community and there's not going to be any snacks and nobody's going to like me.
And I might pee my pants.
Yeah.
You never know. Which actually, yesterday, several people were like in line for the bathroom the moment it was over. So it's a very real fear.
Yeah, yeah. And also going to the bathroom is just part of like releasing energy. And we were praying and doing all this deep energetic work. So to have to go to the bathroom is so natural too. Yeah.
Don't be afraid to say, hey, you know.
And then the opposite of that fear of like what if I pee my pants? What if there's no snacks? What if everyone hates me? The opposite side is, what if they have all of my favorite snacks? What if I meet my best friends that I didn't even realize I was going to meet? Yeah. Right? Like, there's another side.
Yesterday, just at that drum ceremony, Marissa wanted me to stay and talk to some people, and I'm like, well, I'm trying not to. And she said, why? I go, because I'm not going to be here much longer, you know, just for today, tomorrow. And I didn't want to, like, I resonated a lot with a lot of those people, just how I felt in the group. And even there was one man there that was half Native American, and he looked at me and he goes, "You could have some Native American in you." And I go, "I don't think so." And he goes, "You could. You could." He just like looked at me and thought I could. And you know, and I'm like, I'm gonna go over here. Not that I was afraid of him. Like, to me, that's a major compliment. Like, major compliment. And I'm like, I just didn't want to get too attached to those people because they were very nice, kind, friendly people, you know. And I don't want to miss the people I literally just met, you know. So it's but that's, like you said, that's the joy of taking the risk, putting yourself out there, living your life, you know, realizing that not every day, but every moment is a gift, like literally. And that's like she said earlier, life is a gift. That's one of the things I constantly say. And if you think from the thought of what if I die versus life is a gift, it will completely change all of your decisions, your choices, the direction of your life, the people who are attracted to you, like literally the polar opposite of fear of death, you know? And like, I have a fear of, now my fear is of not living, you know? Like, live your life.
Wanting to take full advantage of the time that we have, the energy that we have, and create something beautiful with all the resources that we have. Yeah.
Yep.
The final thought that we're going to leave you with today is that you truly become yourself and reach your highest potential when you are surrounded by loving support, by people who want to see you shine and will cheer you on every single step of the way. I am so grateful that Brad has been such an amazing member of our community for this time, and we've gotten to journey together, grow together, and share this beautiful conversation here with you. If you're not already subscribed to our channel, make sure that you are subscribed, that you give this video a thumbs up. And to get started inside of our beautiful community, the Temple of Earth Wisdom, you can find more information in our description box down below. You can find all of Brad's information in the description box down below so that you can follow along his powerful journey. And we will see you in the next episode.